Obviously, a very challenging game. Michigan State's playing very well. Played great versus Michigan last game. The players may change a little bit, but the system remains the same. Cassius Winston's terrific, playing at a high level. So, huge challenge for us, but looking forward to it.
Anything Winston can't do? I mean, it looked like he was brilliant the other day against Michigan.
No, he doesn't have a weakness, and anybody that says that he can't play in the NBA, I don't buy. I mean, I understand that the NBA is about size, but he'll find a way in an NBA roster. He's as good as any player in a ball screen, as I've seen. I mean, Coach Izzo used to run a decent amount of sets. They don't run a lot anymore because Cassius is so productive on a high ball screen. And they've got players around them that make you pay. So he does not have a weakness in my book. He's a terrific player.
Last year, you got to see quite a bit of what Tillman could do in the tournament. Talk about his growth, because obviously at one point he was playing behind Nick Ward.
Yeah, I mean his body looks great. He's trimmed down. I mean, obviously still big and strong. But yeah, I mean, next man up for them. They recruited a high level. They've got great talent. They developed the talent, and again, like I said, I mean the system doesn't really change. It seems like there's just a new player coming in behind. So Tillman's terrific. Obviously last year we were totally, outmatched at the center spot because of Mott's being out and Murphy. Or more the front court spot. So we didn't play great versus them last year. Played in their building, didn't play real well, and then obviously in the tournament we were so banged up. But they're a terrific team and a great program.
What we'd be looking for the guys to maybe do or not do that sort of happened or didn't happen in the first two Big Ten road games. That was different
First
opponent,
two
but
Big Ten.
yeah, at Iowa, at Purdue, 2 losses.
I think our competitive spirit versus Purdue is what I'm looking for. Purdue's pretty darn physical as well, just like Michigan State is. The only real big difference is Michigan State's going to fly, where Purdue, they're going to walk the ball up the court and play at a slower tempo. But everything that you do, you have to finish the possession with the rebound, or you have to finish the possession with getting back, make or miss. They do a great job of, if Marcus Carr is going down the lane and he makes a layup, they're getting out and going. So Cassius is Marcus's guy, but it may not be Marcus's guy anymore. So I think there's things that from that Purdue environment, we weren't scared of the environment, which was great. And, Michigan State's right up there as one of the toughest places to play in the country.
What did Trey's ties to Minnesota do in his recruiting process, or not so much?
Yeah, it mattered. He was pretty under-recruited at the time. I remember when we signed him, people were kind of questioning it, and then all of a sudden he jumped on the national scene at Wasatch and turned into a top 100 player. But obviously his mom is from St. Paul, and, so she was helping us out there. He's got a great family, great parents. Obviously his sister plays at Duke, so they've got a talented family. So yeah, everybody who knows who's from here has a pride level, that's off the charts. And so obviously his mother was nudging it along to a certain extent. But, Trey obviously made his own decision as well.
I remember you saying last year in regards to Murphy, just as you sort of advise him to get ready for the NBA, tell him to be the best rebounder he possibly can be. Well, what are the kind of things you tell Daniel as he's?
Well, Daniel's different,
Yeah.
because I could tell him to ignore draft boards, but he knows he's picked 10th NBADraft.net. He knows that, teams reach out to me. I tell him, I'm not gonna. The biggest thing I want is I want transparency between both of us, about the process. And let's be honest with it. But we also have to understand they don't draft in early January, just like they don't name the Big Ten champ and they don't pick the NCAA tournament and so on. So, understand why people are talking about you, which is great. Understand why they're intrigued by you, and then understand if you are projected middle of the first, let's go all out, man. Let's try to get you to be a lottery pick. Let's learn from all those things. We're not going to hold you back. Let's just talk about it, constantly work on it. And if he's got that opportunity at the end of the year, I'm all for it. I support it. But again, The NBA draft is not in mid-January, and that's for everybody. There's so many good opportunities for Daniel to show that he's one of the best bigs in the country. I believe in him, and I'm excited to continue to work through this and see where we go. I mean, it's a great problem to have.
Right. Is the next step for his game, you think, the sort of mid-range shooting or long
No,
range
I
shooting?
think he's pretty good at that.
Okay.
He at Purdue, we were down 1 in overtime, and all of a sudden he jabbed at Harms and just nailed it like it was no big deal. Like, not a lot of big guys can do that. I think the next step for Daniel is where he's gotten better is endurance. Got tired a lot last year. He didn't play major minutes, maybe 22, I think, 21 minutes a game. Now he's getting up in the 30s. He's not getting as tired. I just think the physicality piece, and that comes from strength and confidence. Getting the ball in spots because he's really good at the mid-range, and I think that's probably why the NBA intrigues him, or the NBA is intrigued by him. But I think it's deeper post catches, things like Harms and Williams and Tillman and those guys doing. But it's a strength thing. It's not he's willing to do it.
I know Daniel has an appreciation for the NBA and its history. How does he kind of handle the fact that he's on these lottery draft boards?
We talked, I talked to him about it, and I said, Daniel, I will not hold you back. If you're telling, or if people are telling you that you could be a potential first round pick, like, I'm all for it. I mean, that's guaranteed money. That's life-changing money. That's a dream of his. Like, nobody's gonna hold him back. But again, like, they don't draft in January, so like, understand why individually you're being talked about. Understand that if our team isn't any good, because what happens in the NBA is you have scouts, you have, people that talk about college, but the real decision makers start paying attention towards the end of the year because they're so focused on their season. And I learned that just with my dad being the Celtics. So you got to be there in March, whether it's at the Big Ten tournament. You got, the production level is great that he's doing, but you got to be on that stage. And then all of a sudden, when you get on that stage, what do? So you got to constantly play the right way and help your team win.
Good problem to have, though, since it's been forever since a player here has been drafted.
Yeah, I mean, people have to understand we did not have an NBA player since Chris Humphries. And now Amir's getting a chance in the NBA, which is great. Daniel will get his chance at some point. Murph's close. That's a reflection of our program, I think. And I think it's we develop our guys. We're not going to hold them back. So when you recruit good players, that's going to happen. So, yeah, it's a good problem to have. I don't want them all leaving all the time either. But, if you have it's like Amir. I mean, the other day he played, 5-6 minutes. And Amir is going to get there. He's playing behind Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. It's going to take some time. But there's a pride level. Like, I text him right away, like, hey, man, send us a jersey. We need it on the wall. And that's your program gets better. Like, that's too long to not have guys in the NBA. And, you certainly, not only do you sell in recruiting, but you want your guys to feel that. I mean, that's the carrot that, you dangle in front of them to motivate them, which we all have. And that's why they get in this game, is they want to play in the NBA. They want that opportunity.
How do you summarize things, just kind of big pictures? We're at about the halfway point of the season, game 15 here.
Yeah, you know what? I tell you what, this every group is different. I've really enjoyed this group. And, we talked a little bit on my radio show. You never know how it could finish. We lose some games, I'll turn on them and not like them anymore. But they're really good kids. They're doing great in the classroom, as you guys saw yesterday. I mean, they're setting records. They're about the right things. With 7 new guys and 7 new faces. I mean, we talked about at the beginning of the season, okay, if we're going to win, Daniel, you got to elevate your game. He's doing that. Marcus, you got to elevate your game. Gabe, you got to continue to work and get better and do those things. And then you newcomers have got to find a way to grow because it's we're throwing you in the fire. This is the toughest non-conference schedule this program has played in a long time. And to go along with the Big Ten, so many challenges, but I love the fight. Iowa was the only game where I was truly disappointed with the effort and the fight level. But I'm excited about it. We're winning some good games. We're losing some close ones with a very young team, and they're giving me all they got, which it's been a really good group. Still early though.
With Peyton back, played 21 minutes. What did you see from him, like during the time he was out, that he was ready to go as far as physically, but then also before he actually went out. There were some games where he had to play and he was playing hobbled. And
Yeah.
when you see like the 100% Peyton Willis, and what does that mean for your team when he's?
Well, it means a lot. I mean, we obviously versus Purdue, we needed him badly. You know, he plays a lot of backup point for us. I mean, you know, Marcus is playing a lot of minutes, and I think he can handle a lot of minutes, but you know, a little bit less would be nice for everybody. And with Peyton, you have a veteran presence. When you lose Peyton, you get substantially younger. You know, he's a transfer, obviously, but he's older, and he's got experience, and we need that. It's hard to win in this league when you're really, really young. And he can obviously make shots. Extra ball handler is huge. The next step for him is, you know, he's somewhat pain-free, which is great, but, you know, the endurance part is going to take some time because when you're holding him out of practice, he's not getting the up-and-down reps that he needs. So a little bit better yesterday, did a little bit extra after, so we'll give him some more looks today.
I suppose endurance isn't an issue with Marcus. I mean, he just keeps going and going and going. And how much is he embracing this opportunity to go against Winston?
He's got a will to him that's pretty special. You know, I remember him sitting out last year, and you never really know until the real games start and they play in the real games because practice is different. But you know, you look at Marcus and just there was something there that you're like, okay, I think that kid is a winner. I think he's a fierce competitor. I talked about it yesterday on my radio show. Like he does not have a problem with calling out players, not in a demeaning way, but it shouldn't be as challenging as it is. But young people struggle with, hey, you got to call out that ball screen. Like that's a big deal to some young people. It shouldn't be, but it is. Marcus does not have a problem with that. He will fight through fatigue. He is mentally, physically tough. You know, even at Purdue, he was devastated. But, like, he moved on the next day like it was nothing. And there's a maturity piece that's huge.
How rare is that to see a guy that doesn't have anything to play for in a year that is pushing the envelope?
Very rare. Very, very rare. And he's just, I don't know, he's a bit of a throwback, you know. I mean, he's got that confidence in that it factor that, you know, you try to find in recruiting. You know, I find more and more the kids that you recruit that don't want things promised to them have that. And, you know, like we got a lot of guys on this roster who were not promised a thing and didn't ask what their role would be. And I'm not offended by that, but the ones that just want to compete and go and don't want to be handed things, normally, you know, and you got to be a certain level of talent, but normally those are fun guys to coach, and we got a roster full of those. All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.